I used to be the king of putting things off. Seriously, if there was a trophy for procrastination, it'd be sitting on my shelf collecting dust. I'd wake up with big plans, like I was gonna crush it. But by noon, I'd be scrolling my phone, telling myself I'd start tomorrow. Motivation? Yeah, that was a ghost that never showed up when I needed it. Back then, I'd stare at my laptop or my gym bag, knowing I should do something, but this weird fog would roll in and glue me to the couch. It felt like I was fighting a losing battle with myself, and the more I stalled, the louder that voice got, saying, "Why bother?" But here's the thing I didn't see at the time. Procrastination wasn't some unbeatable boss. It was just me handing it the crown. Now I get that I had the power to take it back all along. It wasn't just laziness. I'd feel this weird heaviness, like my brain was stuck in quicksand. And no matter how much I wanted to move, I couldn't. If you've ever been there, staring at a to-do list that just laughs at you, then you know what I'm talking about. Lack of motivation isn't the end of the road. It's a detour, and I've figured out how to steer around it. If this sounds like your vibe, stick with me and hit that subscribe button on the Right Psychology channel. We're diving deep into this stuff together. Drop a comment below too. What's one thing you keep putting off that you're ready to tackle? I'm reading every reply, because your story's part of this journey and I want to hear it. For the longest time, I thought I was just wired wrong. Like some people are born go-getters, and I got the short end of the stick. I'd watch friends hustle and wonder why I couldn't get my act together. But here's the kicker. It's not about being broken. It's about what's going on under the hood. See, I didn't realize how much of my lack of motivation was tied to stuff I wasn't even clocking. It's like there's this invisible force pulling the strings, and until you spot it, you're just spinning your wheels. See, I didn't realize how much of my lack of motivation was tied to stuff I wasn't even clocking. It's like there's this invisible force pulling the strings, and until you spot it, you're just spinning your wheels. You ever feel like the minute you try to get going, the universe throws a curveball? I'd have a plan, write that email, hit the gym, but then my phone would buzz with some drama, or I'd see a headline that made my stomach drop. Next thing I knew, I was lost in a rabbit hole, and my motivation was toast. I'd get sucked into arguments online, or stress about stuff I couldn't control. Like the world was my personal circus, and I was the clown. It didn't hit me how much that chaos was bleeding me dry. Every ping, every bad vibe was like a leech on my energy. Looking back, I see I wasn't just stalling. I was letting the outside mess call the shots. I didn't see it back then, but all that noise was sapping my energy before I even started. It's like the world was a vacuum, sucking up my drive and leaving me with nothing to push forward. I used to think motivation was this lightning bolt that'd strike me out of nowhere. Like one day I'd wake up pumped and ready to take on the world. I'd sit around waiting for that spark, telling myself I'd get moving once I felt it. Spoiler alert, that day never showed up. I'd waste hours daydreaming about how awesome it'd feel to be on, imagining I'd just snap into gear like some movie montage. But the longer I waited, the more I felt like a dud, stuck on the couch with nothing but excuses. Turns out, I was betting on a fairy tale. Motivation doesn't roll up like that. It's not a gift from the sky. What I didn't get was that waiting was the trap. I was handing over control to something that doesn't just drop in your lap. It's like I was stuck on pause, betting on a feeling that wasn't coming to save me. Man, I could talk myself out of anything, Too tired, too busy, too whatever. I'd build these little stories in my head about why now wasn't the time. And they sounded so legit, I'd buy my own hype. Procrastination wasn't just a habit. It was my go-to shield. I'd tell myself I'd start after a nap, or once the weekend hit, like I was some master strategist dodging work for a good reason. But deep down, I knew it was all noise. Those excuses weren't protecting me. They were piling up like junk in a hoarder's garage. The more I leaned on them, the cozier I got with doing nothing. The crazy part? Every excuse I fed myself made it harder to start, like I was piling bricks on my own chest, wondering why I couldn't breathe. Back in the day, I'd look at my goals and think, yeah, that's too big. Why even try? I'd see the finish line a mile away and decide it wasn't worth the run, so I'd kick it down the road. Motivation didn't stand a chance when everything felt like a mountain. I'd stare at stuff like cleaning the house or starting a project and just freeze. It all seemed so huge, like I'd have to nail it in one shot or bust. But the truth was, I didn't need to sprint to the top. I could have just taken a step and called it good. Looking back, I was so hung up on the big picture, I missed how those little moves could have built something real. What I missed was that it's not about leaping to the top. It's about those tiny steps that add up. I was so busy dodging the climb, I didn't notice I could have been halfway there already. You know how life's always buzzing? Texts, notifications, that one friend who won't stop venting? I'd let all that crap drown out any shred of motivation I had left. It was like trying to hear a whisper in a packed club. Impossible. I'd get derailed by every little ping, scrolling through nonsense, or nodding along to someone else's drama, not even clocking how it was eating my day. That noise wasn't just annoying, it was a thief, snatching my focus and leaving me with zero gas to get going. I was so caught up in the racket, I didn't hear my own engine stalling out. I didn't clock how much that racket was steering me off course until I started tuning it out. Turns out, quieting the chaos was the first step to hearing my own voice again. I'd get these ideas in my head. Everything had to be just right before I could start. The perfect plan, the perfect mood, the perfect moment. Yeah, I was chasing a unicorn. Procrastination loved that game. It kept me stalled out, waiting for stars that never lined up. I'd sit there tweaking plans in my head, thinking if it wasn't flawless, it wasn't worth doing. Like I'd flop unless every duck was in a row. But all that obsessing just left me with nothing done, stuck in this loop of not yet. Turns out I was handing procrastination a free pass by aiming for perfect when good enough would have got me moving. Here's the shift. I figured out that messy action beats perfect nothing every time. I didn't need flawless. I just needed to move. I drag around every old flop like it was proof I'd never get it together. Missed deadlines, half-finished projects, you name it. Every time I tried to start something new, those ghosts would whisper, "You'll just screw this up too." Lack of motivation wasn't the problem. It was the baggage I wouldn't drop. I'd replay those fumbles in my head, letting them build this wall between me and anything I wanted to do. Like my track record was some crystal ball predicting more fails. It wasn't just memories. It was a leash, yanking me back every time I tried to step up. I didn't see how much I was letting yesterday's mess dictate today's moves. Once I saw that, I realized I wasn't doomed. I was just stuck replaying a story I could rewrite. The past doesn't call the shots unless you let it. For real, I thought motivation was this outside thing I had to hunt down, like it was hiding in a coffee cup or a pep talk. I'd sit there, feeling empty, not getting that I had the juice all along. Procrastination thrived because I didn't see what I was capable of. I'd look at other people crushing it and think they had some secret sauce I was missing, like I was born without the spark. But the truth, it wasn't about them having more. It was about me not clocking what I already brought to the table. Once I stopped searching out there and looked in here, I saw I'd been sitting on a gold mine the whole time. It hit me one day. I'm not waiting for permission. I've got the wheel, and I can turn it whenever I damn well please. That flipped everything upside down. If you're vibing with this, come join me on the Right Psychology channel. Hit subscribe so we can keep unpacking this together. Drop a comment too. What's one thing you didn't realize you had the power to change? I'm checking every one, 'cause your take matters, and I want to hear it. I used to think I was tapped out. No gas in the tank, no fire to get going. But the truth, that energy wasn't gone. It was just buried under all the junk I let pile up. Doubt, distractions, you name it. I'd feel so drained, like I'd run a marathon without moving an inch, blaming it on some missing mojo I couldn't find. But it wasn't missing. It was smothered, tucked under layers of second-guessing and noise I didn't need. Once I started peeling that crap away, I could feel the buzz humming underneath, waiting to break free. When I started digging through that mess, I found sparks I didn't know I had. It's like uncovering a stash you forgot you stashed away. Suddenly, you're rich. Time was my enemy, or so I thought. I'd watch hours slip by, beating myself up for not starting. Like every wasted minute was a nail in my coffin. Procrastination fed off that guilt, keeping me in this loop of doing nothing. I'd stare at the clock, feeling it tick like a countdown to failure, each second piling on more shame for sitting still. It was this vicious cycle. Guilt made me stall, and stalling made me guiltier, like I was digging my own grave. But then I saw it. Time wasn't out to get me. I was just letting it drip through my fingers instead of grabbing it. Then I flipped it. Time's not the bad guy, it's the canvas. Every second I'm here, I've got a shot to paint something new, and that's power I didn't see before. You ever notice how your space can mess with you? I'd sit in a cluttered room or around people who dragged me down, and my motivation would flatline. I didn't get how much that vibe was tanking my drive. I'd try to work with junk piled up everywhere or hang with folks who just complained all day, and it was like my energy got sucked into a black hole. That chaos wasn't just background noise. It was pulling the strings, making me feel like starting was a lost cause. I didn't see how much my surroundings were setting the tone until I stepped back. Once I caught on, I saw I could shift the scene, clear the junk, ditch the energy vampires, and suddenly, starting didn't feel so impossible. I'd get so caught up in the little stuff, why I didn't start, why I couldn't focus, that I lost sight of what I even wanted. Lack of motivation wasn't just about stalling. It was about forgetting why I cared in the first place. Procrastination stepped in when I stopped looking up. I'd zoom in on every tiny snag, like a late start or a bad day, and let it convince me the whole game was off, like those hiccups were the whole story. But while I was sweating the small stuff, I was blind to the real deal, the reason I'd even set out to try. It's crazy how you can miss the forest when you're stuck staring at one damn tree. When I zoomed out, I saw it. This isn't about one task. It's about where I'm headed. That bigger view lit a fire I didn't know was there. I used to think going solo was the only way. Like if I couldn't kick procrastination myself, I was a failure. I'd wrestle with it in my head, too proud to lean on anybody. But that lone wolf thing, it just kept me stuck. I'd sit there grinding my gears, thinking I had to figure it all out or it didn't count. Like asking for help was some kind of cheat code I wasn't allowed to use. But all that did was lock me in a cage of my own making, spinning in circles with no way out. Turns out, I wasn't proving anything by going it alone. I was just slowing myself down. Opening up to a couple people I trusted changed the game. They didn't do it for me, but they reminded me I wasn't in it by myself. Sometimes a nudge is all it takes to get rolling. Sometimes just voicing my struggles out loud lifted the weight off my shoulders. Like admitting I needed help was the first real step forward. Their encouragement became my safety net, giving me the courage to take small, consistent actions instead of freezing in perfectionism. I realized that asking for support wasn't weakness, it was wisdom, a way to break the cycle and move faster than I ever could alone. Now I see collaboration as strength, and progress feels lighter when shared. Here's the wild part. Sitting around, waiting to feel motivated, was harder than just jumping in. I'd stress about not doing stuff way more than I'd stress about actually doing it. Procrastination wasn't saving me. It was piling on. Once I saw that, starting felt lighter, like I was shedding a load I didn't need to carry. Action beats overthinking every damn time. The moment I took that first step, no matter how small, the mental fog lifted, and momentum quietly took over. I stopped demanding perfect conditions and learned that motivation often follows action, not the other way around. Even on days when I didn't feel ready, showing up anyway taught me that resistance fades the second you begin. Now, I'd rather face the discomfort of starting than the heavy regret of another day wasted. I don't sit around hoping motivation knocks anymore. That's a dead-end street. I've learned it's not about finding it. It's about building it, piece by piece, with every move I make. Lack of motivation doesn't own me. It's just a shadow I can step out of. Now, when I feel that old stall creeping in, I know I've got the reins. It's not some magic fix. It's me deciding to show up anyway. I start small, just one action, even if it feels insignificant, because momentum builds from motion, not from waiting for inspiration to strike. The more I push through resistance, the clearer it becomes. Motivation isn't the spark that starts the fire. It's the heat that builds once I've already begun. And on days when doubt lingers, I remind myself, discipline isn't the enemy of motivation. It's the foundation. Every step forward, no matter how tiny, proves I'm the one creating my own drive. I used to think I was running on empty, like procrastination meant I had nothing left to give. But nah, you're not out of fuel. You're just idling, waiting for the green light. The engine's still there, humming under the hood. You don't need to wait for some big push. You've got enough to roll right now. It's about hitting the gas, even if it's just a little. Sometimes all it takes is turning the key. One small action to shift from parked to moving. Momentum builds faster than you think. Even a slow start gets you further than standing still. The road isn't waiting for you to be ready. It's waiting for you to go. So, stop overthinking the engine and just drive. Look, Lack of motivation and procrastination don't have to call the shots. I've been there, and I've crawled out. It's not the whole story, just a pit stop, and you decide how long you stay parked. You're not a bystander in this. You're the driver, even when it feels like you're stuck. So next time you're stalling, remember, it's not about feeling ready. It's about moving anyway. I'm proof it's doable, and you've got it in you too. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, the rest follows. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Your moment is now. Want more mindset shifts like this? Subscribe to Right Psychology for weekly insights on beating procrastination and unlocking motivation. Let's talk in the comments. What's one small action you'll take today to get out of parked mode? Share below. I'll respond to as many as I can.